This wasn't snowfall. This was a collapse. Hurricane-force winds, zero visibility, highways turning into graveyards of metal, and families trapped in freezing vehicles with nowhere to run. Canada didn't wake up to winter on December 18, 2025. It was ambushed. A colossal blizzard slammed into Alberta with ruthless speed. Transforming highways into frozen traps, cities into gridlocked fortresses, and routine travel into a life-threatening gamble. Within hours, Western Canada was buried under a violent collision of Arctic fury and Pacific moisture, unleashing one of the most dangerous winter storms the region has seen in years. This was not just snow, this was chaos. Meteorologists confirmed the storm was born from a rare and volatile clash. A plunging Arctic air mass tied to the polar vortex collided head-on with a moisture-loaded Pacific system. The result was explosive. Near hurricane-force winds, blinding snowfall, freezing rain, and bone-crushing wind chills tore across Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and parts of British Columbia, overwhelming infrastructure faster than emergency crews could respond. Southern Alberta was hit first and hardest. Along Highway 3, between Lethbridge and the British Columbia border, wind gusts screamed up to 80 miles per hour, ripping snow across the asphalt like smoke from a wildfire. Visibility collapsed to zero. Vehicles were tossed sideways. Authorities warned of imminent power outages and rollovers, especially for transport trucks and semis that became uncontrollable under the storm's force. But the true nightmare unfolded on Highway 2. What should have been a routine stretch between Calgary and Airdrie turned into a frozen disaster zone. In a matter of moments, whiteout conditions erased the road entirely. Drivers traveling at highway speeds suddenly found themselves blind, sliding on ice with no warning, no traction, and no escape. Then it happened. Car after car slammed into the growing wall of metal and snow. Pickup trucks jackknifed. Semis skidded like freight trains on ice. Entire lanes vanished beneath twisted wreckage. By the time the storm eased enough to assess the damage, nearly 100 vehicles were involved in one of the largest pileups Alberta has seen in years. Highway 2 was shut down in both directions. Hundreds of motorists were trapped. Rescue crews fought through hurricane-like winds and blowing snow that instantly erased cleared paths. Temperatures plummeted as engines idled on and off to preserve fuel and prevent freezing. Inside stranded vehicles, fear set in. Hypothermia became a real threat. Some drivers waited for hours, surrounded by darkness, snow, and the haunting silence that follows catastrophe. In Airdrie, emergency warming centers were opened as buses were dispatched to rescue motorists pulled from the frozen highway. Alberta RCMP issued a rare and urgent warning. Avoid all travel unless absolutely necessary. Police admitted response times could be severely delayed, or impossible. If more people became stranded, Calgary itself descended into disorder. Between midnight and 10 p.m., city police recorded 192 traffic collisions. Injuries mounted, hit and runs surged. Major roads were shut down, including large sections of Country Hills Boulevard. Emergency services were stretched thin as crash after crash echoed across the city. The storm didn't stop at the roads. At Calgary International Airport, snowfall and near-zero visibility forced ground delays and cancellations. Aircraft sat frozen on the tarmac. De-icing crews struggled to keep up as snow fell faster than it could be cleared. 68 flights were canceled, stranding thousands during one of the busiest travel periods of the year. Schools shut down. Transit systems slowed to a crawl. After-school activities were canceled. Power outages hit rural communities. In southeastern Alberta, students were dismissed early as roads became impassable. Parents were forced to navigate treacherous conditions to retrieve their children. In southwestern regions like Lethbridge, the Crow's Nest Pass, Cardston, and Coutts, police responded to multiple collisions, including a major crash near a bridge on Highway 3 that forced complete closure. Across the province, vehicles slid into ditches, disappeared beneath drifting snow, or sat abandoned where drivers could no longer proceed safely. Some highways reopened briefly, only to shut down again after fresh crashes minutes later. And then came the cold. As the storm pushed eastward, Arctic air surged in behind it. Temperatures plunged. Wind chills fell toward -40 degrees Fahrenheit, triggering extreme cold warnings across northern Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Exposure became dangerous within minutes. Even short time outdoors posed serious risk. The storm continued its march, spreading snow and disruption into British Columbia, the prairies, and toward northern Ontario. Officials warned that even as snowfall eased, danger would persist for days due to deep snow, ice buildup, and relentless blowing snow. This was more than a storm. It was a reminder that Canadian winter does not negotiate, that highways can vanish in minutes, that preparation can mean survival, and that nature, when unleashed at this scale, does not slow down for human schedules. Alberta didn't just experience bad weather. It experienced a shutdown, a warning, and a stark demonstration of how quickly order can collapse when winter arrives with full force. Canada was buried, and the storm was far from finished.